Hey, how's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the safe space where we set oppression ablaze, and we believe that something better can, will, and must arise from those ashes. This is the home of your blowout. Yes. Yes, Auntie got a blowout. She got a quarterly blowout. And yes, it is I, fake, broke Beyonce. Yeah, yeah. All my single ladies. Okay, how's everybody doing out there today? How was your Tuesday? How was your weekend, everyone? I'm so excited to see these very specific smiling faces up in the place. What up, Big Teal? Big Teal said that when she hears that intro music, is something about it just makes her feel extra gangster. And I said, Big Teal, I can totally relate. I can totally relate to that sentiment. What's up, Infinite Content? What's up, Stoner Lorna? What's up, Luke Kang? What's up, Esther? Laura Strada's in here. Patty P is in here. Where's my man, Schultzy? Schultzy, 100. Come through, bro. What's up to my bruvs? There go my bruvs. Kev Z, 24/7. David Silberg, Chuck Diesel, of course, my bruv, Luke King, my bruv, Toby Swoley, my bruv, Latif, of course, my bruv, and they'll come through all my sistren. Where you at now? Come true, sistren. Everybody's up in here, of course. Shirley, Northern Witch. Hey, everybody, I want you guys to send Northern Witch some good vibes. Northern Witch hit me up, and she said she's not feeling all that great today, so everybody wish Northern Witch good, feeling better vibrations in her direction. She said that she wasn't sure if she was going to be able to moderate for us on Twitch, and I told her to don't worry about that, please. Please just worry about feeling better. So it could be the Wild Wild West over there on Twitch. Who can really say today? But thank you all so much. Hello, Brother Pookie Wood. What's up, Shirley? I don't know if Courtney's up in here. Who else is up in here? Anna Hart, of course. Hi, baby. Where's my sister and Ursula? Ursula, come true. Ursula, of course. Vespa X is up in here. You guys, we've got some really interesting stuff to discuss today. Things that I believe is really gonna pique y'all's interest, because I know we've got some disabled folks up in here. We've got some chronically ill people up in here. We've got some immunocompromised people in here. If not yourself personally, you are adjacent to folks like that. And this is a conversation that we really need to discuss because and I apologize, y'all, for I know I talk about the plague all the time. And do you know why I talk about the plague all the time? I've never lived through a plague. I am baffled by the fact that even though cerebrally I'm aware what viruses and what bacteria and all this infectious disease and communicable disease, I understand, but I ain't never lived through no pandemic. And here we are approaching year 3 of still living through the pandemic. And at some point, I hope to God the pandemic is going to come to an end. But the problem is the abandonment of leadership, the willful disregard of vulnerable communities throughout this entire scenario has absolutely demonstrated that we are comfortable sacrificing disabled and immunocompromised folks in this pandemic. Do you know how many nutball ass tweets I've seen of people being like, yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's good. It's a good thing that the strong are surviving COVID. If COVID is picking off the weak, well, then that's okay. No, see, you've got that all wrong there, Sparky. It's not okay, right? Because at the end of the day, if people who have underlying conditions and people who have been sick, if those people are dying needlessly from COVID, then we are basically sacrificing them to COVID. We are offering them up to COVID. You dig? And I thought this was the greatest place on earth. I thought America was supposed to be democracy Disneyland, right? So how the fuck we letting people fall through the cracks? And not just some people, a lot of people. A lot of goddamn people who just dropped us some bucks. Infinite Content, my man's. Infinite Content said, Infinite Content, surefire way to get me to stop what I'm talking about is to drop me some bucks so I pay attention. What's the money say? Infinite Content said, before you get started, Kim, quick heads up per CNN. Insurance will pay. Yes, I saw that for home COVID-19 tests starting on Saturday. 8 tests per household, but you have to present private insurance? Why? Why? And the thing is, thank you for that, Infinite Content. Thank you very much for your support. And I'm going to get into that a little bit later on the program, because really the White House is like beating their chest like, look, see, we're going to have the insurance company reimburse you, bitch. Why am I coming out my pocket at all? At all. This is a health crisis, a public health crisis, and you are making people pay for testing. Fucking kill me. Get me out of here. Anyway, that's we're going to talk about that momentarily. Coming up later in the program, also going to discuss so Chicago Teachers Union came to terms with Mayor Lori Lightfoot in Chicago Public Schools. Chicago's public school students will be returning to the classroom for in-person instructions per tomorrow. Some members of the Chicago Teachers Union are not too happy with this agreement with the city, saying that they actually gave up a lot and got too little, right? So we're going to be discussing that. But on the other side of that, there was an action today in New York City where students, high school students, had a walkout of their classes because of the conditions inside of New York City public schools, despite all the leaders reassuring us that schools are the safest place for your children. They're the safest place. Not the house? They not safest in the house? How does that make any sense? It makes zero sense. So we're going to get into that just a bit later. Hold on. What you say there, Molly? Of course, Molly is being Molly and Genevieve, which is quite phenomenal for Molly. Molly says that Lori Lightfoot just Are you fucking kidding? They just diagnosed Lori Lightfoot with COVID and is working from home. Thank you, Molly. You're right. Right. Here's the funny thing. Thank you for that information, Molly. The kicker is that Lori Lightfoot's office has been working remotely for some time now. And the same week that she was haranguing Chicago teachers union members about abandoning their posts. Bitch, they are not in the military. What are you talking about abandoning their posts? She was yelling at them for abandoning their posts. Meanwhile, her office was working remotely. Why was her office working remotely, everybody? Because we're in a fucking plague. Right. Of course. Of course the mayor would be working remotely during the plague. Why would anybody intentionally be out here working and doing in-person anything? So why are our students being forced to do that? Why are teachers being forced to do that? We're going to get into all that momentarily. Give me a second to collect myself. Hold on. Because it's already been a very strange day for me. And I will get into why it's been a strange day. But yesterday when I went and got my hair blowed out, I was so paranoid sitting up in the hair salon. All I kept thinking is this how I'm gonna catch Omicron? Getting my ends trimmed? Is this the way I'm gonna come down with the plague? Getting my roots lightened? Is this the way I want to go out? Are they gonna include that when they say how Omicron jumped on me? Oh my gosh. I don't listen, guys. I am tired of this, and I'm scared of this, and I am scared for our children for this. I am afraid that we are offering up, someone on Twitter said it very astutely, like, what kind of reasoning does it make for us to offer up literally an entire generation to an unknown virus, right? Like, we're just like, okay, eventually everyone's going to get Omicron. Everyone's not going to survive Omicron. Does that bother you? Is that okay with you? Is it okay that it was, some arguments say that a very small amount of children have actually succumbed to COVID? Well, what's the acceptable number? If 500 kids have died from COVID, we would have been okay with 50 kids. Like, I mean, again, we have discussed this before, and I still don't have an answer to why we as a nation so very cavalierly accept mass death in all kinds of forms, right? COVID is just the latest iteration. We accept mass death in poverty. We accept mass death through people not having access to good health care. We accept mass death through gun violence. I mean, America's a very unseemly place if you really think about it. There's lots of ways to die here. 6 million ways to die. Choose one. Hey, I don't know. And let me say this. Have you noticed that I have not broached today's show at the onset? Usually I'm like, well, let me start off with some good news. I looked high and low for good news. There is a good news element upcoming to the stories that I'm going to be talking about in terms of the student resistance, but outright good news, I was in search of it. Lo, it could not be found. And that's probably influencing my mood a little bit today. And I think just generally because I'm wearing straight hair, I'm entitled to be a little bit bitchy, right? You know what? Let me shut up before I say something stupid. I was going to say I could pretend I'm in one of them bougie sororities and start thinking I'm better than other people just because I got straight blonde hair. But we're not going down them roads today, ladies and gentlemen, and my non-binary folks. It's just one of them goddamn days. The good news could not be found. I appreciate the fact that marijuana could be found today. And thank you. Can we give a shout out to weed? Listen, y'all know we are very similar minded, like our good comrades over at Black Power Media. We are not in search of any corporate sponsorship, howsoever. I am a consumer and, dare I say, an expert at cannabis. So make of that what you will, cannabis growers and providers, retailers. Anywho, yeah, we have to always shout out the weed, don't we? Come on now, very smug. When does we could do hourly shout outs for weed. Weed has earned it. Has weed not earned it? I know weed has earned your love and respect once again during this pandemic, has it not? I know y'all looked at y'all bags like, damn it, weed, if it wasn't for you, fuck would I be right now, man? Who can say? Who can really say? Anyway, anyway, let's get on with it, shall we? And let's get to the fun part of the program where um our medical leaders, our government officials, our professionals, our allegedly trusted public health niggas and niggettes, right? These are the Bamas that we supposed to look to. No, can't look to them. Apparently, we have to look away from them. We have to look away from them because these motherfuckers is talking crazy. I clicked on a story, and a related story that I'm going to talk about a little later. Okay, the Oakland, California United School District, the students there are organizing, right? The students there like, fuck you, give us masks and shut the fuck up, right? The students is like, So I was looking around local media out there about that story, and I think it was KTVU, and I clicked on the link for KTVU, and the story took a different direction because they were talking to a public health official in the Bay Area. And y'all, all of these folks must have gotten their talking points. Like everybody is saying the exact same thing. Like schools are the safest place for these kids to be. There's no reason for them not to be in school. All safety precautions are being taken. And all I see is evidence to the contrary, coming from teachers, coming from parents. People are coming from students. The students themselves are like lies. You are telling so many lies in our name, but that's okay. That's later. That's later. But anyway, let's get to the origin story here. The origin story regarding the comments coming from the Centers for Disease Control Director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky. I don't really know what I thought about Rochelle Walensky throughout this pandemic, but I will say over the past few months, her credibility has eroded substantially. Proof positive on this show. We showed y'all Dr. Rochelle Walensky and the ever-evolving CDC guidelines around masking and indoor interactions, etc. And I understand that the science, they learn new shit. Okay, cool. But at some point, you have to acknowledge that you have given out bad advice and that any skepticism towards your agency and its spokespersons should be recognized as being valid because you have given out bad advice. And you can call it evolving science is we figure it out more along as we go. Cool, the niggas say that. Don't just be like, oh, new shit. Like, oh, no, that was the January guidelines, nigga. We got the February guidelines. New shit. Like, people are gonna be like, nah. All right. At some point, the things that come out your mouth don't hold much weight nor value at this point. So, but this should be taken extremely seriously, okay? So Rochelle Walensky was on Good Morning America, and this clip is making its rounds through social media. And when I first saw it, it seemed like it had been like edited perhaps by the original poster, right? The person who was highlighting this clip. And I thought that perhaps they edited it in a specific way. And I'm like, surely she didn't say it like that. But okay. So I went to the original clip from Good Morning America, and no, this clip is accurate. This is roundabouts the last minute of Dr. Rochelle Walensky's interview on Good Morning America, and it has a lot of people in the disabled community very alarmed, very angry, and very much like we told you so, right? If we've been paying attention to disabled people throughout this pandemic, disabled people have been telling us, hey, a lot of the way that this is being handled is on par with the way that disabled and chronically ill people are treated generally, but not on this scale and not usually affecting this many people, right? The lack of access, like for example, like telehealth, like all the virtual doctor's appointments. Nigga, that shit should have been a thing. Okay, disabled people have been calling for this, working from home remotely, remote learning, like all these accommodations that society made in order to not have the entire society shut down as a result of the pandemic are accommodations that disabled people have been clamoring for a long time. But when it comes to, for example, the rationing of care in hospitals, where people who have more than one or several underlying conditions, their lives are rated less than healthier people, because I guess the healthier person stands a better chance of surviving. We just let the sicker person die. And who makes that decision, right? Is it some healthcare bureaucrat? You know what I mean? Is this a part of a calculus? Is this an algorithm? Like, how are we calculating who lives and who dies, right? Well, if you're disabled, you can automatically assume, or if you have a chronic underlying condition, you can assume that regardless of how awesome of a person you are, your life and your quality of life and whether or not you deserve to live is going to be rated lower that of a healthier person. Okay. And triple negative bonus points if you are non-white, if you are non-male, especially I would imagine if you are non-binary or LGBTQ, right? Because can't have all these fucking weirdos out here. You know what I'm saying? From the perspective of whomever makes the decision about rationing care and whether or not people should die. But getting back to Dr. Rochelle Lewinsky, and I apologize for taking the scenic route on this, y'all. Like I said, I'm having a day. I'm having a day. Auntie reserves the right to take her fucking time. Anybody has a problem that can get to stabbing, right? Anyway, because I'm old, I'm auntie. I had to throw in a Martin Lawrence. I had to throw in a Martin reference because, that's what your aunties and uncles do. I would imagine at this point. They always quote Martin and Living Single and fucking Different World and shit. But anyway, Dr. Rochelle Walensky. This clip is not taken out of context. It is not altered. At least it was not altered on Twitter by the original poster. This is what Dr. Rochelle Walensky said when asked about the effectiveness of vaccines and, more importantly, who is dying from COVID these days. Let's take a look at that clip, please, Tunde.
I want to ask you about those encouraging headlines that we're talking about this morning, this new study showing just how well vaccines are working to prevent severe illness. Given that, is it time to start rethinking how we're living with this virus, that it's potentially here to stay?
The overwhelming number of deaths, over 75%, occurred in people who had at least 4 comorbidities. So really, these are people who were unwell to begin with. And yes, really encouraging news in the context of Omicron. This means not only just to get your primary series, but to get your booster series. And yes, we're really encouraged by these results.
Dr. Walensky, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Did y'all hear what she said? This is very encouraging. It's very encouraging. That 75% of the people who are dying from COVID had at least 4 comorbidities. Comorbidities, right? Oh, well, there you go. Well, we just need people to have fewer comorbidities. Oh, what are you talking about, lady? What the fuck are you even talking about? How in the hell is that even something to celebrate, right? And again, like y'all, I don't think we have no doctors in here. I don't think we got no medical doctors in here, right? So we all on the same level of lay people fucking medical knowledge and understanding, right? Unless we got some doctors and nurses in here, please make yourself seen, announce yourself. We would love to hear from you and your expertise. But Tunde, if you can go to that A3 for me, sir, and we're gonna try. I'm pretty sure I can talk through this pretty well. So only having a tiny grasp of what comorbidities are, even though I generally think they know what they are. I was curious as to what does the CDC say comorbidities are, okay? So on their website, it says people with certain medical conditions, right? And then it goes down to talk about the folks who are most at risk for COVID, right? And this is what you need to know, okay? People with the conditions listed below are more likely to get severely ill from COVID-19. COVID-19 vaccines, initial doses and boosters, and preventative measures for COVID-19, including on this list, okay? Approved, authorized COVID-19 vaccines, blah, 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 blah. Hold on. So it also talked about boosters. Hold on, scroll. Overview. Okay, people of any age, this is important. People of any age with the following conditions are more likely to get severely ill from COVID-19. Severely ill means that a person with COVID-19 may be hospitalized, need intensive care, require a ventilator, or die. Okay, very simple. Okay, and I want you guys to look at some of these people. So in addition, it lists older adults as people who are more likely to get severely ill from COVID-19. People with long-standing systemic health and social inequities have various groups of people have increased risk of getting sick and dying from COVID-19. I am very surprised that they put this on this list as in telling everybody, yes, if you come from an impoverished community or from a community that has historically suffered systemic inequities in the healthcare department, you stand a higher chance of dying from COVID-19. And again, guys, keeping in mind the number of breakthrough infections, and now we're hearing about people getting sick from breakthrough infections. I don't know about dying, but I've heard about people becoming ill with breakthrough infections. So anyway, for moving on down the list. So these are the just people generally who are at more risk for getting severely ill from COVID-19. Of course, people with disabilities are more likely than people without disabilities to have chronic health conditions, live in congregated settings, and face more barriers to healthcare. So we're already talking generally about people who are already sick, likely people who are poor, likely people who come from vulnerable communities, marginalized communities, non-white communities, poor white communities, Black folks, Indigenous folks, Latinx folks, people who live in congregate settings, which a lot of non-white people do live in congregate settings, multi-generational homes. Like, this is not uncommon, right? So check out these medical conditions, y'all. This list is presented in alphabetical order. We're not going to go through all of them, but I just want you guys to have an idea. Again, comorbidities. When Dr. Rochelle Walensky says, oh, it's cool because 75% of the people who are dying are people with comorbidities, right? So that's great. Okay. Cancer. Guess what? You can survive cancer. Especially if COVID doesn't kill you while you are dealing with cancer. Chronic kidney disease. We have a lot of people who have chronic kidney disease, chronic liver disease, chronic lung disease. Okay. And under the chronic lung disease includes asthma. Know any asthmatics out there? Anybody? Bronchiectasis. Yep, which is the thickening of the lung airwaves, bronchopulmonary dysplasia, chronic obstruction pulmonary disease, COPD. Know anybody with that? People who have damaged or scarred lung tissue. All this falls under the chronic lung disease, okay? Who is at more risk and higher diagnosis for asthma and for COPD? That would be us, Black folks. That would also be Black children, by the way. Oh, so you tell me Black kids with asthma are at a higher predisposition of getting severely ill from COVID? Oh, what if they're Black kids with asthma who are too young to get vaccinated? Oh, and you want these kids back in school for in-person learning? Oh. See how these things come together? Further down the list, dementia is a comorbidity and other neurological conditions, which I'm sure y'all, which includes Alzheimer's. And there we go. Diabetes. So people who have diabetes are at an increased risk of getting severely ill or dying from COVID. Okay. That's type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Down syndrome, guys, come on. Heart conditions, come on. HIV, come on. Immunocompromised weaknesses. Folks, do you understand where I'm going with this? Oh, mental health conditions. Oh my goodness. All of these comorbidities. These are the lists. This is on the CDC's website, everybody. They have made a list of the shit. If you check more than 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of these boxes, the CDC and the federal government is A-okay if you pass away from COVID-19 on this day. And unless we do something serious, this is just going to continue. And look at this: overweight and obesity, pregnancy. Come on, y'all. Sickle cell disease. Come on, black people. Smoking, current or former. No comment. No comment. Solid organ or blood stem cell transplant. Guys, I mean, the list goes on. It list goes on. That's good, Tunde. That's good. I mean, even though I'm not, and listen, I'm not even trying to omit any of these comorbidities listed on the CDC list, right? I mean, there's just, okay. So Tunde, actually, I want us to re-listen to Dr. Rochelle Walensky. So given what y'all just heard, given what we just saw on the CDC's website, let's listen. Let's listen again to Rochelle Walensky, and I want you to hear it with different ears. Hear it with different ears, because I just listed a whole bunch of ailments and chronic diseases that some of y'all might be dealing with. Some of y'all more than likely know people who are dealing with. And Rochelle Walensky is like, oh, it's cool. It's so cool. It's okay. It's so cool. It's so cool. It's totally cool. Let's check out Dr. Rochelle Walensky again, y'all. Listen to her again from what we just read from the CDC's actual website.
I want to ask you about those encouraging headlines that we're talking about this morning, this new study showing just how well vaccines are working to prevent severe illness. Given that, is it time to start rethinking how we're living with this virus, that it's potentially here to stay?
The overwhelming number of deaths, over 75%, occurred in people who had at least 4 comorbidities. So really, these are people who were unwell to begin with. And yes, really encouraging news in the context of Omicron. This means not only just to get your primary series, but to get your booster series. And yes, we're really encouraged by these results.
Dr. Walensky, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
And guys, I also want us to keep some things in mind also. Okay. I was listening to a show and the host was talking about this, actually, about people with underlying conditions being more susceptible to getting sick and dying from COVID. And the person was like, oh, if you just make some lifestyle changes, you stand a better chance of surviving the disease. Oh, is that right? Can I lifestyle change my way out of asthma? Can I lifestyle change? Listen, for motherfuckers who got COPD, for example, even if them babies had quit smoking, like the COPD is still there. So, I mean, exactly, like, what lifestyle changes can people make in order to better protect themselves from the plague? I mean, because it's really wild to me how people think that you can just garlic and ginger your way out of catching fucking COVID. And I'm here to explain to y'all that that's not how the shit works. You understand? There have been many healthy people who have contracted this virus, and even if they survived, they were disabled. They were at a fraction of their prior physical ability. Their literal breath that they are able to draw into their lungs has been drastically reduced. The fatigue that they endure is debilitating, from what I understand. And shit, I mean, I've explained I too am terrified of dying from the COVID. But what scares me almost as much as the thought of dying from COVID is the thought of catching the long COVID. The long COVID sounds fucking terrible. I don't want that shit. I don't want shortness of breath, but going to check the mail. You dig? So this is not shit that we need to play with, especially in the fact that we live in a country that does not provide us nationalized health care, right? So we are going to have literally millions of people who have been disabled or rendered contracted, developed one of those comorbidities as outlined by the CDC as a result of COVID, right? People are getting comorbidities because of having contracted COVID. So beyond the short term, which is extremely important, is how we're going to survive and get over this plague, even though they're already trying to prep us by saying, oh, we're going to have to learn how to live to deal with COVID. What the fuck does that even mean? Does that mean constant indoor mask mandates like our states and municipalities? Is Joe Biden going to institute a national mask mandate? Like, talk to me about how we are going to learn how to live with COVID when we talk about these serious policy decisions that have got to come from governments in order for us to learn how to deal with COVID. Bitch, are we going to have regular testing in our schools? Are we going to have regular free testing for all? Because thank you so much, Infinite Content, for reminding me about that. But yeah, like everybody knows, the White House has approved and it's mandating for private healthcare and companies. Sorry, I'm leaning Tunde, my bad. For private insurance companies to pay for 8 COVID tests a month per household, or at least per person, right? So, but hold on, the caveat is you gotta have insurance. Okay, so why even put that barrier on it? Why not just give people tests or make tests available? Jen Psaki was, like, yeah, the website's about to launch and people can order their test. Bitch, just send the fucking test. Why do people have to order anything? We are in a pandemic. Look at the map of the United States. The whole map is red. It is red with Omicron. Everybody has high transmission in their communities in every single state. Like, why even play games with the shit? Just go ahead and give people what they need in order for them to take the proper precautions and steps to protect themselves. But the Biden administration, again, I don't like this. But hold on. So we talk about the comorbidities, right? Comorbidities. If you could pop up A2 for me, Tunde. Guys, hold on. Let me even say, before I saw this story, I had heard about this story. And when someone told me it sounded like some Facebook fake news, right? Just because it was just kind of random. I was like, really? How does them two things even go together? But okay. Per the CDC, this is in the Seattle Times. COVID-19 may raise risk of diabetes in children, CDC reports. Oh, this is rich. This is real rich. The CDC, by the way, same niggas. it be them same niggas talking about in-person instruction is the safest place for the school to be, but they'll say that shit loud as hell on every cable news channel in front of every microphone and camera. But when it comes to, hey, kids that catch COVID might get diabetes, that shit gets whispered. That shit real soft. Why is that? Why they say it's so soft? Why they say it's so soft? Let me read a little bit of this here, Tunde. Where shall we begin? It's all bad. Let's start with the beginning. It's all bad. No, that's not what it says. It says children who have recovered from COVID-19 appear to be at a significantly increased risk of developing type 1 or type 2 diabetes. Research at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reported on Friday. Yes, a heightened risk of diabetes has already been seen among adults who have recovered from COVID. According to some studies, researchers in Europe have reported an increase in the number of children being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes since the pandemic started. But the CDC study is among the first to examine large insurance claim databases in the United States to estimate the prevalence of new diabetes diagnosis in children children younger than 18 who had COVID or who were known to be infected with the coronavirus. So they've been studying insurance databases. The CDC has, by the way. The study used two claim databases in the U.S. Used two claim databases from U.S. health plans to look at diabetes diagnoses made in people under the age of 18 over the course of a year or more, starting in March 1st of 2020, comparing those who had COVID to those who did not. The researchers found increases in diabetes in both data sets, although the relative rates were quite different. I want you guys to check all this out, okay? They found a 2.6-fold, stop. They found a 2.6-fold increase in new diabetes cases amongst children in one and a 30% increase in another. I'd say 30% is statistically significant, wouldn't you guys? So we went from, oh, kids really don't catch COVID, to, oh, kids really don't get sick from COVID, to, oh, kids really don't die from COVID, to, oh, kids who get COVID have a 30% increased rate of diabetes. Diabetes, which the CDC lists as a comorbidity, which the CDC says increases your risk of becoming severely ill, being placed in intensive care, being placed on a ventilator, or dying from COVID-19. But we gotta open them schools. You better open them goddamn schools. You better open them goddamn schools. You better open them goddamn schools. How else are these kids gonna catch diabetes? I need y'all to send me good news because, again, I'm feeling very bad that it did not come with good news because tragically, here I am, still broadcasting from the land of the stupid, which would be the United States of America, which would be, by the way, golf clap for the U.S. Golf clap for the U.S. Listen, our international viewers will be fascinated to know this, even though I hope in your respective nations they have reported this already. But the United States set yet another single daily COVID positive case record with 1.3 million positive COVID tests in 1 day. And 1 day, shattering the previous record of 1 million positive COVID tests in 1 day. That was set last week. We already got a new record. Do you guys remember the first Batman when after the Joker had sent all the tainted makeup and hair products to the news anchors, and then Batman just started laughing deliriously? That's gonna be me here in a couple of short weeks, I can imagine. I'm going to be reporting horrible news, and I'm going to be smiling and laughing at the same time. Not because I find this shit funny. No. Because that is my psychotic response to that. That is my dissociative response to all the ineptitude, to all the death, to all the incompetence, to all the cruelty, to all the deliberate fucking dumb shit that we all have had to endure in some way or another. And many of us, 1 million plus of us, have died as a result of all this. And now we understand from our same medical and scientific leaders that contracting COVID increases bad health outcomes for children. And here we are saying the kids have to go to school. Like, it's madness, y'all. Like, it is lunacy. I am broadcasting to y'all from the dystopia. Don't look, you do not have to look on the horizon of the future as to, well, when is the dystopia? Nigga, the dystopia right now, the dystopia today, January 11th, 2021, 1/11/21, today. Somebody, y'all better go play numbers too. That's a bunch of ones and twos. Y'all go, some of you better run and do that pick 3 before the liquor store closed. But anyway, I know, Patty P, it is totally sick. It's really sick. It's really sick. And I'm sure, and you know what? This country has always been sick this way, right? It's just been sick in different ways. This is just our, this is the special brand that our generation, that we specifically get to experience. Yes. Look at me. I didn't even bother covering up my sports bra for y'all. This is how despondent I've been today. I didn't even put on a good shirt. Is it 5:45? Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. All right. So let's go along. I appreciate you guys just letting me lament for some time here. So go ahead and let's rock that B1, y'all. Let's rock that B1 tune day. I probably won't do the last what's the face? The last story. Excuse me. We'll just get through this. Get through this here. Eric Adams, oh my gosh, the new mayor of New York City. Why is he terrible? New York, what's going on? Rich El Dios, ¿qué pasa, brethren? What happened there? What happened? What happened in New York? How the fuck did we get this Bama ass nigga? Listen to this Bama ass nigga was on CNN, the network of the Bama ass niggas, talking to Jake Tapper, yes, one of the lead Bama ass niggas. So it was a bunch of Bama ass niggas on the Bama ass nigga network. Anyway, Eric Adams was being questioned by Jake Tapper about, why are you so pressed to open schools up, Joe? Don't you understand that we are at record hospitalizations? We are at record COVID rates. We are at record. All the metrics say that COVID is worse now than it was a year ago. But gotta get the kids to school. Gotta get the kids to school. Let's check out that clip from CNN.
Wouldn't mandated weekly testing for students, teachers, faculty be the safest way to keep the schools open? Why are you not doing that?
Because ideally that would be the safest way to do it. But you know what would happen? I don't want to lose some of my children. And the way we are doing it now, we are being successful in keeping down the rates low. And if we reach that moment that we have to have that mandatory testing, then we'll evaluate that again with our medical professionals. But I need my children in school, and any barrier to do that, I believe, is more harmful than helpful.
When he says, and he's not the first one to say that line, I've heard that line, that we need kids in school because we're going to lose kids if we shut down schools, or if we enforce a remote or a virtual option in schools. We're going to lose kids. Like, kids are not going to come back to school. What about the kids who are going to lose family members as a result of COVID? Like, don't you think that the loss unnecessarily and preventatively of loved ones of kids who are these students, don't you think that's more traumatic to them than not being in school for 2 weeks, or even 4 weeks, or even 8 weeks? Like, don't you think the child would rather have their mother or their brother or their father or their grandparent in their life, who chances are they live with, right? And who are susceptible to that child bringing them COVID. I mean, it's just this stupid shit, right? This, are we going to lose kids? Nigga, kids are going to lose their family members. You understand? What was the other goofy thing that nigga said at the end? He said, I'm going to lose kids. Oh, obviously, if in a perfect world, ideally, yeah, we could be testing. And if we reach the threshold, I guess, of positivity where mandatory testing would be required, we'll look at that. Well, what's the threshold? Like, we are at record levels of COVID. COVID is setting records. At what level does Eric Adams think we need to be at before mandatory testing for New York City public school students and staff to be required? Like, again, it's madness. Like, this shit don't make no fucking sense. Like, they are talking about this thing as if this shit is not killing and disabling people and stretching our healthcare system to the brink, right? They're acting like the hospitals are not full. Like, everything's fine. Just open up the schools, send the kids back to school. Well, listen, here at Burn It Down with Kim Brown and the whole Fire fan, we are here to stand not only with teachers, but we stand with the kids, okay? Kids. We respect the shit out of the kids who are out here taking a stand and saying no. And that happened today in Eric Adams' town, where he is the mayor. New York City public school students had a walkout today at noon, okay? And students left, primarily high school students, from what I could gather, walked out of their schools, walked out of their classrooms in sub-freezing temperatures, might I add, just to let you know where the kids' heads was with the shit. They didn't give a fuck about if it's cold. No, we believe in this shit. So the first clip that we are going to see is going to be students walking out of Brooklyn Technical High School. Okay, this was around noon today. This video was shot by videographer William Denslow. Okay, and then the second clip we're going to see is an interview done by journalist Sarah Bell Lynn, who spoke to students who had walked out of their schools, and the students are articulating their reasons why they do not feel safe for in-person learning. Themselves, the actual kids, the same kids who the CDC says stand a 30% higher chance of contracting diabetes if they become COVID positive. So let's look at the kids. Shout out to the kids, right on to the kids out here for doing what some adults clearly will not, and that is stand up for them. Let's take a look at that.
Here, stand here for a minute, say we support you.
Thank you. Did anybody else want to add comments about walking out today?
Yeah. So I generally hope that, with walkouts going out through the city, including in Bronx Science, Brooklyn Tech, STI, and all of these other schools that are planning on joining, the citywide movement, I hope that the DOE learns to, decides to actually take action on a lot of the problems at their schools. Like schools throughout the city have really bad ventilation, which obviously really bad ventilation can contribute to many problems, especially with COVID-19. And especially, even though the Omicron virus is milder, there are a lot of people that are immunocompromised in our homes throughout the city. And they're not a minority, they're actually, very prevalent. And, the fact that, we are still forced to go to school and not giving a remote option or a hybrid option is really, horrible to those who are at home, who are more at risk of getting severe symptoms from, the Omicron, variant. And there are other variants that are out now as well, such as Deltacron, IHU, and the Flurona, among others, that are going to pop up more and more. And as the more variants pop up, they're going to get more and more dangerous and more contagious. And, as they spread throughout the city, especially since New York City is, one of the biggest cities in America. And, I feel like if we don't provide more safety measures for students and teachers and, parents, it's going to get worse. We're going to see, an increase in maybe deaths and severe symptoms, and many people's lives are going to be affected, in worse ways.
We deserve good education.
Thank you.
Out of the mouths of babes, everybody. Those are students participating in a walkout in New York City throughout their public school system today. Yeah, obviously done by mostly high school students, but kids who are with the shits, kids who are obviously informed and aware enough to know that the shit that Eric Adams is talking is not in their best interest. It's not in the best interest of them. It's not in the best interest of their households, of their families. And some kids are saying no. And I wanted to take a look. We can kind of go through these next couple ones a little quick. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, wait. There's that. There's that. Let's take a look at excuse me. It's gonna be, let's do B5. B5. Let's do the tweet. Let's do the tweet. Because, okay, so you saw the students in New York City there doing a direct action, walking out of class. A number of students in places across the country are starting to organize and say no. B5. This is from a group called Shy Rads, which describe themselves as high school students in the Chicago public school system who are activists and who are radicals and who want to reshape the public school system in a way that best serves students. And they tweeted out that we, as young people of the Chicago public schooling system, have officially allied ourselves across a multitude of cities' public high schools. We have established a coalition that will organize, execute, and define the reimagination of our education. And they go on in their letter saying that, number one, that they stand shoulder to shoulder with their educators. By the way, Chicago public schools will be back in school for in-person learning tomorrow. A tentative deal was reached between the Chicago Teachers Union and the Chicago public school system. All the details have not been made public, but what has been made public is that CPS agrees to an increase in testing. They also, with the teachers union, one of their concessions was that they will allow schools to be closed if infection rates reach a certain threshold on a school by school basis instead of a district wide mandatory closing of all of CPS schools because of high infection. So they have agreed to close school by school. That is exactly what's happening in Baltimore City, by the way. There were 50 Baltimore City schools closed because of their COVID pools testing extremely high, and also because of a lack of ability to staff schools because the teachers are sick, the substitutes are sick, people are sick. Pop up B7, if you could, Tune Day. This caught my eye as well because students in Oakland, California, we know Oakland has a wonderful long tradition of Black organizing and young people organizing. They have created a petition, and these students in the Oakland Unified School District have promised a strike if their demands are not met. Let me read you a bit here from their petition. Why is this doing this? Why does everything hate me today? Is Mercury back in retrograde? Could somebody go punch Mercury in the motherfucking face? What's wrong? Why'd you say all right? Are you sick of me, Tune Day? Oh, wait. It sounded like he said, all right. Everybody talking shit. Everybody got something to say. Everybody got something to say today. No, it's fine. I'm just fucking around. So basically, the students, I don't know why this phone is behaving this way, but the long and the short of it is, let me read here from the students' petition. There is a lot of concerns regarding safety measures and how to protect us from a highly contagious Omicron variant. We must go back to distance learning until the cases go down again in order to ensure a safe learning environment. We demand that you give us KN95/N95 masks and weekly PCR testing. If these demands are not met, we will be striking by not attending school. Right on, kids. We will be striking until we get what we need to be safe, okay? And they promise that strike by next week if their demands aren't met. And by the way, the Oakland Unified School District is apparently trying to meet the students' demands. They are blaming supply chain snafus as the reason why they have not been able to get the KN95 masks that the students have demanded. But yes, that's what the fuck I'm talking about, kids. And that's all I can say, really, because I don't see how you can have a serious conversation about in-person learning if proper ventilation has not been taken in these public school systems, which it appears that in a lot of places it really has not, right? If you don't have the proper air filters, if these children are not given medical grade masks, how in the hell can you seriously expect people to show up in school? Teachers especially, right? I mean, can you imagine? I can't even imagine being a teacher. What is that? Oh, it's Noli D. Oh, it's a little emoji. I was like, is that a new kind of currency? I didn't know what that was. Noli D, thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you so much for your generosity. We appreciate you. We appreciate your support. Oh, and a heart. Thank you, baby girl. Thank you. Thank you. Sometimes I'll be scrolling too far down and I'll be missing shit anyway. But yes. And the kids in Baltimore are organizing similarly. The Baltimore Teachers Union, as I told you guys on Friday, is doing its own fundraiser to fundraise medical grade masks for Baltimore City students. Oh my God. Why? Why do we live in the dumbest country? Actually, we live in I guess the country that is most dedicated to capitalism. I saw the funniest shit. I mean, it was just a little bit funny to me, but I saw that the United States has instituted a travel ban with Canada because cases in Canada are up. Nigga, Canada could never have the amount of positive COVID cases that the United States has. I just thought that was hilarious. Like, why did you even do that? Canada's probably in way better shape than the U.S. And I'm sure it should be in the reverse, that Canada should be banning travel from Americans to their country, right? But anywho, I don't know what to say, guys. I really don't. And I'm so deeply empathetic to parents of school-age children right now who are having to deal with these battles, like these sort of back and forth debates with not only political leaders, but people who are in charge of literally the education and the safety of your students, of your children, of your kids. I've seen so many school superintendents talking so fucking crazy, basically parenting Dr. Rochelle Walensky and Joe Biden and Jen Psaki and all these dumbasses who are screaming that schools are perfectly safe. Well, if schools are perfectly safe, then why do schools keep shutting down? If schools are perfectly safe, how the fuck is COVID just marching again through our schools? The only difference between now and a year ago is that there was an effort, or at least a pretend political will to want to protect kids. That's why we had closed schools before, because we wanted to protect children. And guess what? We found out that parents are financially unable to stay home long term with a sick child, right? So how do you get the parents back to work? You have to open the schools, and you have to force the schools open. And I guess by forcing the schools open, you do that by shaming the teachers, and you do that by lying and pretending as though that everybody has all the resources that they need. The Biden administration is fully aware that states are literally hoarding hundreds of millions of dollars. ProPublica just did an investigative piece on this, on the amount of money literally being hoarded by states in the hundreds of millions of dollars, and more northward than that, right? All the eviction relief, that's in the bank for the state of Maryland and the state of Oklahoma and the state of Illinois and all these different places. Like, all of the money for upgrades to the public schools, that's in the bank. They ain't spent not a penny of that money, okay? And there's a big cognitive, I suppose, dissonance between the rhetoric coming out of the White House and the reality at the average public school in the United States. Joe Biden did send $130 billion. He sent the Pentagon $770 billion. But okay, he only funded the public schools a fraction of the military. But anyway, that's semantics, Kim. Semantics. Don't worry about that. Okay, so Joe Biden sent the schools $130 billion. Cool. So Joe Biden seems to think that the $130 billion has been fully executed, and that everybody got brand new HVAC upgrades, and that KN95 masks are being handed out to students upon their arrival every day, and everybody's getting tested as they can, right? Or at will. No. This administration has failed us. They have failed to provide adequate testing for us as a nation. This Johnny-come-lately bullshit of we gonna mail out 500 million COVID tests to anybody that can get on the website and register. Nigga, what? Is that right? Oh, okay. Anyway, I apologize to you guys that I did not come today with solutions. I just came today with gripes. Today was an airing of the grievances day, okay? And my only solution is to not pay your federal taxes. Don't pay your taxes. Keep your kids out of school as much as you are able to. Protect yourself and your families in your household if you have people who are immunocompromised or disabled in your household. And don't solely rely on the efficacy of these vaccines. I mean, guys, I've never been anti-vax. I mean, only thing I'm and this is, again, me personally, I'm not saying this for nobody else, but like, for example, I never got a flu shot. You know what I mean? Like, I get where niggas is coming from when niggas be like, oh, I could take COVID. No, nigga. No, you can't. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. But again, so the only I'm anti-vax is flu shots, right? I never got no flu shot because every person I ever knew who got a flu shot got the flu. So I was like, that's amazing, goddamn sis. If I just get the flu, I can handle the flu. I had no expectation of my immune system, which I consider to be up top notch, right? I consider my immune system to be very top notch because I'm one of them garlic and ginger bitches. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of them parsley bitches. Like, I feel you. Like, I get what y'all coming from, but y'all ain't seen this shit. This is brand new. This is new. And here we are on year 3 of this new virus that keeps remixing itself and turning itself into different variants. And we still are at a loss to try to combat this. So again, I apologize for the rants, Organize. Come through, Big Teal. All right, y'all. I'm gonna surrender y'all. I'm going to set y'all free. I'm going to give y'all free. I'd like to thank everybody. Good morning. Hello, Ursula, my darling. Don't ask me why I said good morning. It just came out my mouth. Hello, sweetie. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow over on the Remix Morning Show, over there on Black Power Media with the good bruvs and my good sisters over there, my comrades, for the Remix Morning Show, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Please tune in for that. Y'all, I hate it here. I hate it here. I hate it here. All I can say is, please don't sacrifice your children for the economy. Don't sacrifice yourself for the economy. Tell Eric Adams and Joe Biden and Larry Hogan and Lori Lightfoot to SMD. I had to edit myself because I know my mother's watching. So I didn't want to say all that. But Gen X, y'all know what the fuck I just said. SMD, you tell Lori Lightfoot, you tell Larry Hogan, JB Pritzker, Eric Adams, tell them all. DeSantis, tell them all. SMD, I'm going to protect myself, my household, and my children. Kiss my ass. We surviving this pandemic, bitch. Don't think otherwise. Comorbidities or no. So anyway, guys, that's it. That's the show. We'll see y'all back here on Friday. On behalf of Tunde and Molly, I'm so sorry. Again, I'm just so disgruntled at everything. Fuck. On behalf of Tunde and Molly, we appreciate all your support. Thank you. Hold on, real quick. Actually, Tunde, let me shout out these new patrons real quick, because we did get some new patrons, and I'm so deeply grateful for y'all's support, because I am deeply grateful. So thank you so much to Callie S. Thank you so much to Rosaiba. Thank you, Rosaiba. That's what's happening. Thank you so much to Learn Life. Thank you, Stephen B, Molly G. We appreciate you guys and all of your support. And I know some folks send us some other stuff, and I will reply to you guys directly, but we deeply appreciate all your support. Guys, don't forget, COVID, still out here, jumping on everybody, not giving a fuck if you get diabetes or any fucking thing. So please wear your medical grade mask, social distance, wash your hands, get vaccinated, or do something. Just do something. Stay your ass in the house, please, for God's sakes. Don't let these people kill you. All right, we love you guys. See y'all later. Bye. 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 Bye.